Hello and welcome to Vanguard Live Sports. My name is Damlola Ubuchaki, and of course today we'll be reviewing some of the matches that were played over the weekend, like the EPL, and also talking about some of the CAF matches also. And before I actually go more into details, I would like you to actually give your opinion in the comment section about what you think about what I'm about to say. And that's a particular government agency presented estimated a cost of cutting the grass, that's the Moshood Abiola grass, and said it's 81 million naira, which of course the Minister of Sport, that's Sunday Dari, rejected. But I would like to hear your opinion. What do you think about that? 81 million naira just to cut grass. Let's hear what you think. But of course, we'll be looking at the EPL matches. Of course, there were lots of interesting matches this weekend, like that of Liverpool, and talk about Manchester United that also turned their own, of course, their score over during the weekend. And talk about, we also had Brighton and Liverpool. So starting with Brighton and Liverpool. So it was Brighton's second penalty of the game after Neil Maupay fired the first half spot trick wide at the Amex Stadium. The Reds thought, of course, they are taking the lead when Mohamed Salah lashed onto a Roberto Firmino ball before firing home. But it was disallowed for offside by the video assistant referee, while Diogo Jota broke the deadlock with his 9th goal since joining the Reds, as they received Salah's pass before going past two defenders and firing into the bottom corner. Meanwhile, substitute Sadio Mane believed he had sealed the game with a late header for Liverpool, but that was also ruled out by the VAR for offside. And talking about Liverpool's boss, that's Klopp, he was furious with the officials as they walked off the pitch, and Captain Jordan Henderson said he would like to see VAR scrapped. Of course, we've heard many controversies surrounding that of VAR, but of course Liverpool now are expressing their own, and also including the boss. The visitors also lost James Milner to an hamstring injury, while Brighton had to replace both Maupay and Adam, who had only been on the pitch for 8 minutes. Klopp criticized broadcasters again afterward for placing this game on a Saturday lunchtime after a Champions League game on Wednesday. The defending champions go 1 point above Tottenham, who visit champions on Monday, Chelsea on Sunday, while Brighton remained 16th, 5 points ahead of 17th place Burnley. Now, talking about Burnley, also Burnley played with Man City, and of course they lost to Man City, but Man City scored 5-0. So it was Riyad Mahrez. He scored his first Manchester City hat-trick as Pep Guardiola's side beat Burnley 5-0 at Etihad Stadium for the 4th time in a row. Of course, the Algerian scored 2 first-half efforts into the corner to ease any concerns about perceived City scoring droughts. Benjamin drove home Kelvin De Bruyne's cross for his first City's goal before halftime, and Ferran Torres turned home his first Premier League goal after the break, following a brief period of Burnley's pressure. Meanwhile, of course, this would have been worse for visitors Burnley after their keeper, Bailey Peacock, who was making his Premier League debut with first choice Nick missing because of injury. Of course, Pep Guardiola's side also dominated a number of opponents during this the match, but the arrival of Sean at the Etihad was a near-home banker, as it's also impossible to get. But many of Man City's fans are always also expressing their expressing their consent, saying that this EPL match being played this season, it's not really coming to their good side. They are not really liking the way Man City is currently playing. And of course, when we are talking about Liverpool, it has also not been easy for the reigning champions. But of course, let's still keep talking about more of that. And that also takes us to that of Everton and Leeds. And of course, Leeds also beat Everton. And that was they end their first win in 4 games by beating Everton in a thrilling match, thanks to, of course, Rafinha's long-range stroke. The Brazilian finally broke the deadlock after 20 yards with a low freezing shot after the two sides had carved out numerous chances in the games where manager Marcelo and Carlo Ancelotti met for the first time. And of course, when you're talking about Leeds United and Everton, a lot of people actually expected more than what Leeds United are currently giving to their fans, with seeing that they've been missing from the EPL for a long time, but they're coming out. But of course, it seems they're improving back and they're gaining their own stand again because of their match with Everton. It was really a great one. But of course, with Everton slipped, they slipped to a fourth defeat in 5 games, making their unbeaten start to the season seem like a distant memory. Meanwhile, they carved out plenty of chances themselves and could not beat Ilan, who denied Richarlison and of course Takure of their matches. But now going away from that, let's talk about Chelsea and Tottenham. Of course, Lampard and Mourinho cancelled each other out at Stamford Bridge. A lot of people were expecting that since Liverpool actually slipped, that Chelsea or Tottenham will have to cover up with this. But it seems that Tottenham is still top on the table, and of course with 21 points, and Liverpool also with 21 points, with Chelsea at the 3rd position. But we're expecting that one of them will actually climb with this, with Liverpool lost to, of course, to Brighton, and just be able to move up with their points. But it seems it was a draw with none of the teams scoring. But when you're talking about Tottenham and Chelsea, they've both been putting a lot of efforts this EPL season. And also when you're talking about Chelsea's performance in the Champions League, they've actually been doing very great. And of course, Tottenham, or when you're talking about Mourinho, anytime they score match, Nigerians and also their fans are always complaining about Mourinho's 50 shoulder pad always rising and him not being able to communicate with others. But away from that, let's talk about Southampton and Man United. And of course, it was a great turnover from Manchester United, with Southampton. Of course, the first half, Southampton ended it with 2-0 before Manchester United came in and also scored the surprising 3 that many of their fans have actually given up, saying that of course it seems this match they've actually lost it and they are going to remain 17th or 16th on the table. But right now they've currently moved forward and no longer there. And of course, talking about them moving forward, of course, Cavani, of course, halftime substitute, he replaced Mason Greenwood at the break, has set up Bruno Fernandes for United first. Of course, before the 74th minute header brought the sides level. That 74th minute header was actually what people were talking about, saying that they are really impressed with Cavani's match and also the hat-trick that it was really, the header was actually wonderful at that place. And he actually trended on Twitter yesterday with many people saying that it's like Man United, they are really getting their feet back, as following also their victory with Istanbul or last week in the Champions League, them scoring and also gaining another point to move forward and still stay on top of their group, that's of Group H. Now moving on from that, let's quickly talk about of course Enyimba's win, that's for the CAF. Of course, Enyimba's win and Plateau United loss. So it was a mixed fortunes for the country's representative in the CAF Champions League, as Enyimba secured a valuable 1-0 victory away to Rwanda's side, while Raimo FC yesterday, while Plateau United suffered a home defeat against Simba FC of Tanzania. Victor came from the bench to secure the win with the only goal of this game in the 73rd minute. The People's Elephants will hope to complete the job when they play at home in the second league in 2 weeks. Meanwhile, it was a game the home side will continue to rule their wastage in front of game, as they missed several chances in each half of the game. But talking about Super Eagles coach Kenneth Rowe was among the few people that watched the game, which was played behind closed door, alongside the technical director of the Nigerian Football Federation, that's Austin. The Nigeria side will need to do unthinkable when they travel to Tanzania in the weekend, that's of December 4 to 6, for a chance to qualify for the next round. And also talking about Rivers United, who have begun their hunt for the continental glory with a 2-1 defeat to Futuro Kings during the preliminary round first leg of the CAF Confederation Cup on Saturday. The game played at of course the Mongoro Guineans saw the Ulster, that's Futuro Kings, who were formed in 2017, dominating the game from the blast of the whistle. But of course, the home side broke the deadlock in the 76th minute when Nkama rose IS to head the ball past goalkeeper. And of course, the goal looked to have scored the Nigerian side as they came forward in the numbers to get the equalizer. Of course, Godwin Aguda pulled one back through the penalty spot in the 77th minute to give Rivers United an away goal as the game ended at 2-1. So also, Nigerian appoints Sri Lanka's ex-international as head coach. So the hard-hitting left-hander who was a part of Sri Lanka's World Cup winning team in 1996 will be the new coach, Daza Asanka. He will be the new Nigerian head coach and high-performance manager. It has been announced, and commencing in his new role on the first day of December, he will lead the Nigerian Cricket Foundation's high-performance units and also act as a coach trainer and mentor the country's rapidly growing number of local coaches. The 54-year-old, who has spent many of his recent years in Australia, had an 11-year international career playing 41 tests and 147 one-day internationals for Sri Lanka, highlighted with a crucial 65 runs scored in the final against Australia in 1996. Now, also talking about the Tigers' defeat Mali, that's the Nigerians' senior men's basketball, of course, team. That's the Tigers made it 3 wins out of 3 games yesterday at the 2020 Afro basketball qualifier currently going on in Rwanda as they defeated Mali. Of course, the Nigerian side recorded back-to-back wins against South Sudan and also the host, so that's Rwanda. Mali started strongly but was unable to hold the 2015 champions, who ran away with a 23-point gap. That's, of course, 91 to 68 points. Take it or leave it. Of course, when you're talking about basketball, the Tigers are always ahead, especially here in Africa. And also, still talking about that, let's just talk about Diego Maradona, of course, who's COP searched his house of personal doctor. Of course, when we talked about his death last week, and many people say that they should retire the number 10 jersey because of Diego Maradona. We also had his lawyers coming out to say that he didn't actually die, that it should investigate his death, that there might actually be some medical negligence because of these deaths. And of course, they had to go, of course, the cops swapped yesterday, went to the house of his doctor amid the reports that the legend death is being treated as a manslaughter. So the searches of the personal physician's property began yesterday, that 4 days after the 60-year-old died at his home. And of course, the prosecutors behind the order are said to have been sanctioned by a judge, are understood to be trying to establish whether the football legend was a victim of medical negligence. But of course, we have to keep following up on that story and also update you more on what they say. But of course, we can't talk about football and not talk about boxing. And when we're talking about boxing, of course, we've been saying it many times for a long time now, since we've been following Mike Tyson's return back to boxing. He has been saying that he really wants to return. And of course, we have many people advising him not to come back. He should just, stay there and just be enjoying and just be watching others like, of course, Anthony Joshua and of course the Gypsy King, all of them, boxing, and she's just watching it at home. But of course, he refused and still went on to train, and he came back. So, but of course, he was denied a victorious return to the sport as his one-side exhibition bout with Roy Jones Jr. was of course not as expected, as it's called a draw in Los Angeles. Of course, the 54-year-old Tyson made a comeback 15 years after entering retirement for an exhibition bout with the 51-year-old Jones Jr. and the former world heavyweight champion exceeded expectation with a lively display and failed to receive recognition in 2 of the scorecards. Of course, talking about Mike actually says that it's something, it's actually good on his own side. And when you're talking about Roy Jones actually thinks that he said he does not actually do draws. Draws is not what he does, but they still expect they are still hoping to fight another time. And of course, we'll be looking forward to that. And we hope Tyson we actually live to the expectations. What people were actually expecting, and him uploading many of his videos on social media, his training videos. People expecting to come back, might say, but it seems we are not really getting that. It seems this year is not really for, mics. People, of course, they put the people answering mic. Sorry if your name is Mike. But let's, of course, talk about, the main stuff that I really wanted you people to comment about, and that's about Sunday Dare, who rejected 81 million naira proposal to cut grass. That's at MKO Abiola National Stadium. Of course, when many people saw this, I think many people were actually misinformed about this, that it was the minister, that's Sunday Dare, that actually made this proposal. But of course, it was not the one, but he rejected the proposal, which was made by a government agency, that's the Abuja Environmental Protection Agency. They estimated the cost of cutting the grass and clearing the surroundings of the MKO Abiola National Stadium to the tune of 81 million naira. Right now, in this, of course, when you're talking about in this season, where people are talking about food and still saying that, of course, they're complaining about Nigeria being in recession, and we're talking about using 81 million naira just to cut grass at the MKO Abiola Stadium. But of course, we have the minister come out to say that it's not that it's not something that you can use that huge amount of money for. That of course it would be good if it was for infrastructure and other things where they will be spending the money, not to talk of just cutting grass. Of course, according to the minister, he says that spending such an amount to cut the grass around the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, it's something that you cannot really expect to do right now, this period. And we actually don't really expect someone to say that you'll be using 81 million naira just to cut grass. But of course, let's really look at the page and here and see what Nigerians are currently saying on social media. And here, of course, we have people commenting here, and someone says that of course it's really ridiculous for someone to be saying that they will be spending 81 million naira to cut grass alone. Of course, you can keep your comments coming, and also don't forget that you can always tune into more of our programs that will be coming up. And of course, if you want to get more of your sporting stories, you can always visit our website, and that's www.vanguardnigeria.com. But of course, before we go, let's look at the EPL table and look at the standings. And of course, here on the EPL table, of course, we have Tottenham leading with 21 points, and also Liverpool leading also second with 21 points. And when you're talking about this difference for the Premier League, of course, we had Liverpool fans saying that this season is actually going to be different because the gap will actually be a lot. But of course, we've now started seeing them closing the gap. But we just hope that, of course, this will move forward and there will be changes with the way Liverpool playing. And also Chelsea, they're currently with 19 points on the table, and also Leicester City on number 4 with 18 points. That's 1 point behind the third position, that's 19. And Southampton and Wolves are 1 point behind the 4th place Leicester City. And Everton and Manchester United at 7th and 8th, of course. And also Aston Villa with 15, and Man City 15. And as we're talking about Man City, were dethroned last Premier League and being 10th right now on the table. But of course, EPL still have a long way to go, and we hope that they will do better. And of course, West Ham and Leeds United, also Newcastle, all have 14 points, and Arsenal also 14 on the table with 13 points, including Crystal Palace 13 points, and also Brighton 16 on the table with 10 points. And West Brom with 6 points, and also those who need to fight out of relegation and avoid it, that's Burnley with 5 points, Fulham with 4 points, and Sheffield United with just 1 point. I think it's really a disappointment seeing that Sheffield United, how they played last season and also this season, with just 1 point right now. But of course, still have a long way, like we're saying, and we hope that they will come back. And now talking about, of course, La Liga, let's just quickly look at La Liga table. And of course, on the La Liga table, the standing, of course, Real Sociedad with the first on the table with 24 points, and they're currently leading. And Atletico Madrid also with 23 points, sitting at the second on the table. But Atletico Madrid, of course, you can see that it's really surprising to see their performance in the La Liga and also their performance in Champions League, seeing that they're not really doing very well in the Champions League right now. But talking about Villarreal is 20th with 20 points, third on the table, and Real Madrid also 17 points, fourth on the table, and Sevilla also 16 points, fifth on the table, and also Sajik with 6, Barcelona on 7th, 14 points, Granada also with 14 points, and the Athletic Club with 13 points, and also we have Getafe at 13. With 13 points, and Real Betis with 12 points, Osasuna with 11 points. Of course, if you want to get more of this info, you can always visit our website, like I said, that's www.vanguardngr.com, and also you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us on all our social media platforms that are showing on your screen to get, of course, more of the things that are currently going on. And don't forget to always keep your opinion, keep your comments coming, and so, of course, we'll always interact with you while we are online. Of course, this wraps up the show for today, but you can always, like I said, you can always follow us. And my name is Damlola Ogunshaki. Don't forget to tune in for more of our programs that are coming up.